Roosevelt called it the snow walker. Pioneer trainmen in the Fraser River country stopped to catch and cage a baby ape found near the rails. Named Jacko, he was extolled in the press and exhibited for a while, then disappeared. A British Columbian fisherman, Albert Ostman, returned from a wild inlet to tell of being kidnapped by a family of big feet and kept captive until he freed himself by sharing his snuff. The same year, in 1924, the famous Ape Canyon incident took place, when miners in Washington's Skamania County reported shooting a Bigfoot and then being attacked by several others. Reports continued to generate from Skamania County, and in 1969 an ordinance was passed protecting Bigfoot. Monster hunters Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin, encountering a female ape of great proportions on a Northern California stream, returned with a shaky film shot on the run when Patterson was bucked from his horse. Shown worldwide, the film set off an epidemic of hunters, who dispatched reports no more or less compelling than the hundreds of tracks and glimpses and fuzzy photos and hanks of hair turned up by ordinary folk with no monsters aforethought. Bigfoot societies were formed and expeditions mounted as hundreds of huge humanoid tracks were discovered, from Maryland to Minnesota, from Pikes Peak to Mount Hood. Most academics and forest managers remained firmly unconvinced, while the growing cadres of true believers argued over whether or not to kill the animal when it was found. Movie spoofs and tabloid dramas fanned the flickers of the faithful, while degrading a once powerful set of native traditions into a staple of kitsch journalism. Thus have we come from the early frontier fables of boogeymen, which accompany every advance into the wilderness, to a state of mass fascination mixed with general unbelief. As assembled from some hundreds of eyewitness reports, traditional legends, tracks, and other signs, a few vague photographs, and the famous film strip made by Patterson and Gimlin at Bluff Creek in 1967, a portrait of Bigfoot emerges fairly clearly. The animal is large or immense, from 6 to 10 feet in height and weighing perhaps 300 pounds to half a ton when mature. It stands upright, and though its powerful arms are long, they do not touch the ground, as those of the great apes do. Russet, beige, brown, or black fur covers the massive body except for the palms, soles, and most of the face. The neck is short, the sagittal crest pronounced, the brows heavy and beetling. Bigfoot may have red eyeshine in headlights. Males have small genitals and are half again as large as females, whose breasts can be pendulous, as Patterson's film shows. Almost all observers agree that the animal leaves behind a very strong disagreeable odor, and that the face is more human-like than animal. The most frequently described feature, and the most prominent, is the feet, which are, in a word, big. Tracks commonly measure 15 to 18 inches or more in length. They have 5 toes, a double ball, and a low arch. Grover Krantz, a professor of anthropology at Washington State University, has analyzed many tracks and has pronounced some of them genuine. He hypothesizes that Bigfoot represents a living population of the huge primate Gigantopithecus, known from Pliocene and Pleistocene fossils in Southeast Asia. Most cryptozoologists believe that if the big galoot exists, it is a relict hominoid ape that occurs in dispersed populations totaling several hundred or several thousand across the forested montane Northwest. Many relict species, animals or plants extinct over most of their range but surviving in pockets, are known. The tailed frogs of the Northwest, whose only relatives occur in New Zealand, are a good example. The mountain gorilla is another, and some such species have remained hidden until recent times. The fact that Gigantopithecus did exist makes it impossible to dismiss giant hairy apes out of hand. The idea that a large bipedal ape might have evolved, died out overall, but survived in remnants strikes no biologist as outrageous. The problem is not whether Bigfoot could exist, but whether, if it does, how it has